Welcome back to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Today we are talking about all things October Daily. If you are not familiar with this project, this is something that has sort of a take on December Daily, where you document your everyday stories just in the month of October. And this is a perfect project for those who love this time of year, love fall, love August, love Halloween and all things fall. And so you create a nice little themed album to document all your adventures and shenanigans. So I'm going to take you on a tour of what I've gotten done in this album so far. And for full disclosure, I actually started this project last fall in 2021 with every intention of finishing it then, but of course we all know how these things go. So I have 4 stories in here. I have one about my graphic tees that I like to get this time of year, my festive mugs. That one says this might be booze, B-O-O-S, B-O-O-S, which is super funny. My daughter and I, well, my whole family and I went to see Wicked, and so we have our Wicked t-shirts on. We actually didn't plan it that day, so I decided to document that story. And then every year we go to the Cheesecake Factory and get our annual pumpkin slice of cheesecake, and it's absolutely delicious. And so I have those stories documented, and that's where I stopped. And so I decided that this year I'm going to go ahead and just continue on with this project. I'm just going to make it perpetual, meaning I'm just going to add to it. So I'm going to finish out the stories for 2021. So I'll be working on 2 stories that were based in 2021. And then once I finish the 2021 stories, which I don't have a lot of those, I'm going to go ahead and start with my 2022 stories. And when the album's filled, I'll just start a new album. So we're going to start with story number 5. We'll continue with story number 5. And what I'm using are just items from my stash, from Paper Person, Elle's Studio, as well as Ali Edwards, and a few other things mixed in. And some of these things are just not available because I've had them for at least 2 or 3, maybe sometimes maybe a little bit longer than that. So I will post links to products that are available, but some of this is just not available, just to let you know, because I'm using my stash. I have a 3x4-inch photo, and that is of my daughter at her dance practice. And at that time, the parents couldn't go to their practices or parent preview in person in studio. So you have to sit in your car in the parking lot, which my spouse was doing that day, or watch remotely. And so I took a picture of my laptop and my coffee cup as I laid in bed, drinking coffee, watching her doing her practice. I think I may have been sick on that day, but I can't remember. But anyway, I'm watching her practice ballet virtually. And so I wanted to kind of document that a little bit. So I pulled some items from a kit that I pulled together that has a whole bunch of my fall and Halloween themed items. Again, some of these things may not be available. That background paper is from Paper Person. Those little leaves are from me and my big ideas. And then the fabric leaf there, that yellow one, is actually from Ali Edwards. And that came out probably about a year or 2 ago. So I'm going to go ahead and use this tag. Now, I had already pre-made this tag for another spread, so I'm just going to use it on this one. And I created an enforcer using my We Are Memory Keepers enforcer punch. And I'm just going to layer that all together. That tag's going to serve as an anchor. Now, that background, the blue or the greenish blue paper, that's from Paper Person. And that was actually, I want to say, trimmed down to maybe a little bit less than 5 by 8.5, something like that. And so what I did was I added the little holes there using an extra piece of cardstock from Elle's Studio so that it will fit out of pocket in my album. I'm using a Citrus Twist Life Crafted album, which is 6.5 by 9.5 inches. So this is a traveler's notebook style album, and I thought it'd be perfect for this type of project. It has 6 rings to it. The pocket size is 4.25 by 8.25, but if you create a loose page, the size is 5 by 8.25, and that's what the size of this page is. So I'm just going to layer up a little bit. I love working in this size because it forces you to use your materials in a very efficient way. Also, you can use a lot of smaller elements too when you're working in a smaller size. I absolutely love it. I kind of go through extremes. Sometimes I like the 12 by 12 size because that's what, I'm a true to form scrapper in that way. But I've really enjoyed scrapbooking in these smaller sizes over the years. Okay, so now that I've got those leaves backed up, or at least adhered rather, I'm going to go ahead and lay my photo down using a little bit of foam. I don't worry that this is out of the pocket. My albums are not manhandled a lot, so I don't worry about people ripping things off my pages or things falling off. So stuff is nice and secure, using some adhesive dots to make sure that everything sticks on real nicely. I'm going to work on the title, and the title is really going to be Hello Autumn. I couldn't think of anything festive to say. I was just sitting there watching her dance. I could have probably come up with something else, but I really want to use these letters. And this is kind of like, getting to to the autumn season. You know, the kids were getting ready for their fall performance, and that's what we're watching there, is that variation. And so it's kind of like all of these things tied together with this theme of album. I'm trying to decide if I want to add a label sticker, and I do, but this particular label sticker, I thought I was going to nestle it there at the top of the word that says autumn, and it's a little bit too long. So I decided to reposition that label sticker, and that is from the Paper Person shop, and it says class is in session. And I'm so glad that I was able to use this because my daughter is a homeschooler. And so for us, school is year round, but she does go to ballet classes. And so I thought that would be perfect to put there. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put the word hello. That was kind of an afterthought, and it does nestle nicely there on top of the word that says autumn. So I'm just going to put that right there, just to kind of fill out that white space a little bit on the photo. I love layering things on my photos. I think it adds a lot of interest. I'm always kind of very careful because some things you put on a photo, and if you don't want it there, then you try to pull it off and you rip your photo, and it's a whole thing. So I'm glad that that worked out. I typed up my journaling on Microsoft Word, just typed that up as a text box, cut that out. And I'm just going to put that there down at the bottom. I'm just talking about how I'm enjoying a cup of coffee while watching my daughter practice. I really love how this page came out. I like that it's out of the pocket. It's a little bit of a different experience when you are looking through an album and you can experience pages that are out of the pocket, whether they're interactive or whatnot. So that is story number 5 in the books. We're going to move on to story number 6. And for this story, I'm documenting my mom's 73rd birthday. She turned 73 last October. In fact, she turns 74 next month, or next week rather. Notice that I have this little kit here. I make little small packs, little kits of product for each of the pages for my album. And this is something that I do when I'm not quite ready to construct the page, but I just want to design it, have the materials ready. There's a little sheet that I created. I just use that in-house. I don't have that available anywhere, but it's just to help me sort of plan out my pages. And here are some of the elements that I plan to use on this particular page. Some of this is new and some of it is from my stash. So again, I'm going to work on just one part of this particular spread, which is this one, and it's a little pocket. This is from Citrus Twist, and it has 8 of those 2x2 squares. And what I did initially was I put pattern paper in those squares for another layout that didn't get done. So I decided to go ahead and use it as it is. But I added in my photos, and these are photos of my mom and my daughter and I who went out. We went out to lunch on her birthday. We took her to get steak and a midday margarita, which she absolutely enjoyed. And so I resized those photos in Photoshop to 2x2 inches. I will make a larger spread. I usually make birthday spreads for my mom and my spouse and my daughter. I'll make a larger spread, but I did want to put this story into my October daily album. Sometimes I do have duplicate stories, but in different formats, and I'm okay with that. I don't do that all the time, but sometimes I do. So I'm going to take these little elements. I have a little chipboard heart there at the top. That's from Elle Edwards. Another wood veneer piece. I think that's from Elle Studio, but I can't remember. And then I have a fabric leaf that was from Elle Edwards. I flipped the page, and now I'm going to add this little cardstock leaf that is from Me and My Big Ideas from several years ago. I also have this little chipboard sticker that says yes, because that's a picture next to it of my mom enjoying her margarita. I have this wood veneer piece that says Family Time. That's from Elle Studio. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive dots there to the back of that wood veneer. And notice I'm popping things outside of the pocket. If you use really good adhesive, those elements will not come off. And I love the out of the pocket experience because you can feel the textures of the elements. And so I do that throughout the album. I'm going to go ahead and add some more chipboard pieces there at the bottom. This is from Elle Studio, just a little scallop circle, and I'm going to pop a heart there in the middle. That blank space there is going to be for journaling, which you'll see here in just a moment. I need to go ahead and hear my little camera down, and I believe that is from Elle Studio as well. And I decided that I wanted to put one of these little hearts, or at least a star, in the middle of the camera where the lens is, but none of them pop, right? They just kind of fall against the page and nothing really stood out. So I'm going to pull over some enamel dots that I've had in my stash. This is from Simple Stories, and I'm just going to pop a nice little orange enamel dot there in the middle, and we are good to go. Next up, I want to add a label somewhere. So I'm going to look at the labels from this Paper Person sheet, and there was nothing that was popping off. So I decided to switch to an Elle Studio, not Elle Studio, Elle Edwards sticker sheet. And this is from at least, maybe this was last year, I can't remember. And that label says October Memories. And so that was perfect to put there under that camera. And then I've got another little square that I just want to finish out. I'm using this heart banner. That's from Elle Studio. It's from one of my monthly kits. And I'm pretty sure that was from last year, sometime last year. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to that little square, and that's going to slip right into the pocket. So the wood veneer is on the outside, and then the die cuts adhere to the pattern paper square. And to that, I'm just going to add on the outside of the pocket just a little puffy heart, and that's going to finish that out. Now, I did type up my journaling in 2x2 squares in Photoshop. That's actually very easy to do, and I need to remember to do a quick tutorial for those of us who only want to learn certain types of things on Photoshop in order to do things like that. So I need to keep that in mind. You guys keep reminding me of that to do that tutorial. I'm going to trim those out, pop those into the pockets, just real briefly talking about her birthday celebration. And then I'm going to add just a little row of hearts here on the left-hand side page. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do a large embellishment cluster by the word autumn, and I just really love the design of this. This is from the paper person. I paired it with a strip of the striped paper just so I can make it that big size of 5 by 8.5, so it's kind of out of the pocket size for this album, and that row of hearts worked perfect for that. I just love that design. I didn't want anything to take away from it. So with that, this particular story is done. Now, I was going to film a couple more stories, but I ran out of page protectors. I only have the full sheet page protectors, and I need the divided ones for the stories that I want to tell. So I'll continue to share this project throughout the season, and then towards the end, I'll give you a full walkthrough of this project. But I really love the way this is coming together. I love Traveler's Notebook size, and I'm so glad that there are companies that make albums with page protectors. I was using the paper, or the not Project Life. We're talking about Traveler's Notebook, not Project Life. Traveler's Notebook size inserts, and I don't like those. I like being able to have my stuff both inside and outside of pockets, but I like how clean it looks inside of an album. So again, this is the Citrus Twist Life Crafted album. I did post a link down below in the description on my blog so you can check out all the details. They have this album that's 6.5 by 9.25, and they also have 6 by 8 albums as well if you want to check it out. I'll continue to share this project with you throughout the holiday season. So if you're looking for something, an alternative that you can scrapbook this holiday, check out October Daily. In fact, you can search October Daily videos here on YouTube so you can get some creative inspiration. Make sure you click on that video there on the screen so you can enjoy some more Victoria Marie content, and I'll see you in the next one.